Hello, my name's Aaron. I'm not gonna lie, it feels strange to be sitting here posted behind the camera. I started this project 18 months ago. I remember watching a channel in America on YouTube I stumbled across, and he was interviewing homeless people and people with addictions. And I thought, well, I didn't think anything initially, but it was really close to home and it was powerful. Like, he was helping these people, capturing their stories. So I thought, I can do this in England. So I gave it a quick search, seeing if there was anyone doing it. Came across a handful of channels, and it was all street work. So it'd be a case of they'd approach people on the streets, give them a mic, exchange stories. I think it would give them £20 vouchers was the general consensus, the things I saw anyway. So I thought, hang on a minute, let me try this. So in November 2021, I brought a camera. I knew nothing about videography. I knew nothing about photography. I knew nothing about YouTube. So I brought this camera, and at the time I'm working 40, 45 hours a week, shifts, so like 6-2, 2-10s. And let's just say I'm on a 6-2. What I would do is I would book a studio for 6 o'clock. I would finish work at 2. So now I've got 4 hours before studio. So I'd literally walk the streets for 4 hours, finding people. And I would approach them. I would say, hey, my name's Aaron. I'm about to start a YouTube channel. I'm looking to capture stories. I'm looking to pay for your time. I'm looking to put you in a hostel for the next few nights, accommodate as a come over together, buy you food, buy you clothes, whatever's needed. So that's how it started. And I remember after 5 months of doing it, I was able to help a handful of people. I remember 2 people were able to get jobs, a few people were housed, family members reconnected with some videos that they went viral on TikTok, sort of viral. And I've gone to March, so after 5 months of doing the project, I'm in Australia, March 2022, so just over a year ago. And I'm looking at my bank balance, and I'm 7 grand red. And I'm thinking, whoa, I can't afford to be £7 red, never mind 7 grand. So I'm getting a bit nervous. I'm thinking, what do I do here then? And if I'm honest, that week, I was about to put it in the bin, because even while I was in Australia, in Sydney, I was doing the same thing, King's Cross, almost like London when it comes to homelessness. It's really bad, real bad ice problem over there. And I thought, I can't keep doing this. It's just bleeding, this project's just bleeding money. It's not what I envisioned. I didn't envision to be a millionaire and make money off these stories, but it was not to lose this kind of money. And then I remember sitting there, and the week that I was about to quit in the bin, like I didn't know how to do it. Like, it was embarrassing almost, if I'm honest, that I've done all this work, everyone's aware that I'm doing it, and it felt a bit shameful that I was gonna quit it. And I had a goal for me to help support the project if and where possible. And I received a donation from a guy, and it helped massively. Like, yeah, it was like, whoa. To me, it was whoa anyway. And it kept the project moving. And it gave me some inspiration, some motivation. And I guess it felt like someone believed in me and the channel. So I kept it moving for another 6 months. And now, so the channel's on a steady incline. And as I get to November, I'm thinking I can do something special here. I really think I can with the channel. Like, all the things are going the right, albeit it's a bit slow. I'm starting to make some gains. So at the moment, I'm living in London, and my work is saying, you need to come back to Birmingham. I'm thinking, I don't want to go Birmingham, I don't want to be there. Like, London, especially for Taboo Room, it's a land of opportunity. The amount of homeless people here, unfortunately, in comparison to anywhere else I've been, the difference is incomparable. Like, people travel from other cities to London to beg and be homeless, as crazy as that sounds. That's what I've learned from my experience. So, on a whim, I've said to my work, because like I said, the Taboo Room dies if I go back to Birmingham, it's about to die. I email my ops manager saying, hey bro, can I take a sabbatical? And the only reason I sent that email was because I genuinely thought I can just have a bit of conversation back and forth, sort the logistics, just extend my time in London, I guess, and just keep the project going and moving. But they're like, yeah, sure. And 2 days later, after signing some paperwork naively on my end, it's offed, and I'm in a sabbatical starting in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. And I'm thinking, what have I done, man? I'm living central London. I've got a YouTube that's bleeding £1,000 a month. I'm renting. I'm not in a position to be taking no sabbatical and unpaid leave. So I remember I'm hella anxious, super anxious. It's Friday night, and that one person who helped me before, he was the only person I knew who I thought could help. So I've sent him an email saying, hey, this is what I'm about to do. I'm nervous, can you help? And he emailed back, man, in like 15 minutes. And I'll never forget it, man. Like, to him, it's probably nothing, but to me, it meant the world. Well, no, it's issuing an email, because the initial email was, I'm not looking to invest, and here's my number. But the long story and short of that was, we met up, and he helped me during my sabbatical, and again, just kept it going. When I thought he was about to die yet again, after so much work. So November's happened, and we get to now December, at the end of my sabbatical, well, 2 weeks before the end, and the project's taken off. Like, it's doing bits. Like, I'm helping people. The YouTube channel's now starting to make money. It's monetized. I'm now making as much from YouTube as I was from work. I'm helping people. It's good. The project is starting to become what I want. But I'm thinking, is this sustainable? Like, can I keep this going, really? I had no idea. So I had no idea. But I took a risk. I quit my job. I hated it. I hated it with a passion. I hated it. I can't deal with authority at all. I can't. But after quitting it, I remember 2 weeks later, I was walking the streets of London after like 7 hours or 6 hours, and I couldn't get no one to share their story. And I was thinking, what have I done, man? Like, I was anxious. I was nervous. It was an emotional roller coaster in January. Like, obviously, on the other end, it looked like I was just uploading content, but behind the scenes, I was a stressed mess. Yeah, so anyway, that happened. And then, as you can tell from my content, I've switched lanes. Like, there's no homeless people anymore that I interview, or addicts. And this is why. So I remember, I think this might even been before my sabbatical. So this, I guess, put the feelers out there to some degree. Or during my sabbatical, I think. I interviewed a lady, again, walked for 3 hours, found them, and I brought them clothes, brought them food, and by the time we got to the studio, we've got 15 minutes left. Like, I book it for an hour at a time at this point. Yeah, it would have been bought before my sabbatical, this would have been, or during. But anyway, I've got to the studio. This lady's told me a story. She's like, I was abused, my dad hard me, I chopped his cock off and murdered him. And I was thinking, that's deep, man, hectic. But it didn't really sink in at the time, as bad as that may sound. I was checking, there's no one here. So when I run this project, there's no one doing the sound. There's no one doing the visuals. So I'm trying to do these 4 things at once. And unfortunately, when I have like 10 minutes left or 15 minutes left to record an interview as well, I'm majorly stressed. So I've captured the story and I've taken it home. Part of me is thinking the story will do well and I'll be able to help a situation. So we'll exchange numbers. And I upload the story on a Sunday morning or afternoon or evening, a Sunday. Upload it, and on TikTok I upload a short form version of it, and it does like 4 million views in 30 minutes. I'd never done that before. None of my videos are getting that traffic. So I've rang her and said, hey, your video's gonna do really well, I can tell. And I should be able to help your situation much more than I currently have already. And she's happy, I guess. And then YouTube, I upload it. It does like 24,000 views in 2 hours, which I know is not a lot, but if you know YouTube in 2 hours, that's amazing for anyone. And then I get a DM. It says, I end up getting 8 DMs saying, so-and-so you've just interviewed is lying. She's never been hard. She lives at home with her brother. She's not homeless. She's just on drugs. I'm thinking, bro, what do I do now? Like, I have no idea what to do. And they're all saying, take it down, take it down, take it down. I ring her, said, hey, I've just heard this. What's the score? She goes, well, most of it's true, not all of it. No, she said, yeah, most of it's true. And I'm thinking, what do you mean most, man? Like those things you don't lie about. Well, I don't think people lied about. Maybe I was naive. And I didn't know what to do. But after the phone call with her, I just took it down. I was getting anxious, man. Like, this video was doing numbers, and it would probably would have made the news. So I've pulled it down, and that was probably the first thing where I realised I can't really keep doing this. Like, it's not. Well, that was the first thing that went into my head, thinking I can't really do this no more. And then the next thing, the final straw, was probably about 4 months ago. And I think in the last 4 months, I've no longer interviewed anyone homeless or addicted. And I found this guy in Bayswater. Again, spent about 2-3 hours with him. Walked to the studio. This studio that I'm in now, currently here, he was sitting right here. He captured it. I captured his story, and it was heartbreaking. Yeah, his story was heartbreaking. I think told me he was sold as a slave. He was bullied, and somehow he did 3 years in prison for murder. I can't remember the exact story. Anyway, interview's been wrapped up. We're leaving, and we're going, there's a door behind the camera that you can't see, and we're going there. As we're leaving, he says, I need to tell you something before I leave. I think, hang on a minute, bro. I've just captured your story. What do you need to tell me now? He goes, if you have any backlash from this story, just know it's not that bad. I'm thinking, backlash? What do you mean, bro? So bear in mind, we're palm in palm at the moment, so I'm shaking his hand as he's leaving. And he says to me, I was seeing this girl before, and she said to me, do you want to meet my parents? And he was like, yeah, of course I do. As in him, not me. So yeah, he went to meet her parents, and he goes, as I was driving to the estate or walking, I can't remember, he goes, everything started to look familiar. And at this point, I was starting to feel sick already. He says, when I got to the front door, I realised it was my sister's house. And yeah, I felt like vomiting at that stage there and then. Putting 2 and 2 together, you know what he's saying. And then I was thinking, he's told me he's done 3 years for murder. Maybe he's done, well, I said, how old is she? And he said she's 19 now. I was thinking, 19 now, bro, you look about 60. Yeah, I felt sick. And then I remember saying to him, so where is she now, the girl? Because I was a bit curious to know a bit more. And he says, I don't know, she's probably getting shagged by everyone. And I felt sick. I just said, yo, bro, you need to go. So he left. I deleted his interview. And since that day, I've never walked the streets. And I've heard some harrowing things, man. Like, you wouldn't believe the things I've heard on and off camera. But that hit me differently, like to a point where I was thinking, yo, bro, I just can't do it. Like, I feel like there's a place for people to do these stories, perhaps, but after the experiences that I've had, I can't do that. So I then started interviewing gang members, gangsters, ex-convicts, prostitutes, cuckold couples, everything else taboo. Well, drill artists. And if I'm being honest, when I look at my back analytics, no one cares about homeless people. No, I shouldn't say that. People don't want to hear their stories. Like, I captured some deep stories, and I could tell from the click rate, people were clicking off. Like, these videos weren't doing much. Like, at one stage, 80% of my content was homeless people, and 10% was gangsters and prostitutes. And my top 10 best performing videos were gangsters and prostitutes, and there's one homeless story within there. We spoke volumes. And so, like, the channel couldn't run on homeless stories no more. There's a mix of things where I couldn't do it. And I didn't feel right doing it anymore. So yeah, that's where I'm at today. You're gonna see more prostitutes, more gang members, more drill artists. I'm trying to do, I guess, even famous people who've been fascinating stories. I have no connections, so if you have connections, hit me up. So that's where I'm heading now. I guess more fascinating. I wouldn't say dark. Fascinating stories is what I'm doing now, opposed to homeless and addicts. And I'm enjoying it. And the channel's taking a boom. Mate, Joe Rogan followed me the other day. Joe Rogan. And I'm now looking to do documentaries, if I'm honest. Like, I'm sitting on enough content. I've just come back from Chicago. I went to Old Block. Don't know Old Block. Give it a Google, man. Old Block is no joke. It is no joke. I just went to Old Block, did about 5 interviews. South Chicago is a different world. Went Memorial Weekend, 53 shootings, 11 fatal. But what I'm looking to do now is documentaries. I'm looking to do 5 documentary part series that I have in my head. And I didn't know anything about YouTube a year ago. And I don't know anything about documentaries at the moment. But I'm hoping that I can do something special with that moving forward, and that's my next plan. And I also want to say thank you to everyone who watches my videos, man. And if you got this far in this video, sick. Yeah, thank you so much, because without you lot, I would still be working some dead job that I hated, depressed, and I wouldn't be able to do any of this. So really, man, yeah, thank you. And one last thing, Jacob Garcia, I have a Patreon. I've had it for 4 months. I haven't really pushed it. But Jacob, you bad boy, has been with me for 4 months. I've uploaded nothing. I've sent him a message apologizing. So Jacob, if you're watching this, bro, I'm sorry that I've uploaded no content. But thank you as well, man, for your Patreon support. And I'll be putting that link in the description and the bio. So if anyone wants to join the Patreon, yeah, please do, man, because this ain't cheap. And thank you.